questions flying left to right. People tired, losing track. No one's got your back, but now you do. Sensei's got you. That's the Sensay. Knows what to say. Talks like a human. Works night and day. That's the Sensay. Saves your day. Built for the future. Here to slay. No more bots that loop and freeze. No more reps begging please. Sensei smart, it knows the play. Chatbots powered the real way. You don't need more crew, cause Sensei's true. That's the Sensei. Knows what to say. Answers in seconds. Leads don't stray. That's the Sensei. Saves your day. Fuel it with Sensei. On your way. Pain always lives, all forever stored. Every lead, every call, Sensei scores. That's the Sensei. Rush away. Work gets done while you sleep all day. That's the Sensei. Leaves don't delay. Eye with heart, that's Sensei. Hey. You got a team, working day and night, questions flying left.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. I am Dan Thompson, the founder and CEO at Sensay. Welcome for this week's community call on Twitter, LinkedIn, Telegram, and YouTube. As always, if you have any questions, please do drop them in the comments and we will see them and we'll bring them up towards the end or throughout if they're relevant to the topic of the conversation today. For anyone joining us for the first time, Sensay is a leading chatbot platform where you can create hyper-personalized chatbots based on your personality, and that could be used for something like sales, for customer support, community management. So replicating some of your key people in your business to actually enable your lead funnel, your customer and client funnel to be the best it can be, or saving costs when it comes to customer support or community management by using these incredibly lifelike natural language chatbots. As always, we welcome any of the community members to come in, ask any questions. We're actually starting to add some rewards in for some of the questions that get pulled up. So make sure those questions come in thick and fast today, and we'll pull up 3, 4, 5 of the best ones at the end, and those will be rewarded with some Sensay tokens. So definitely get those questions in. For anyone who's interested in supporting the project more, you can always go to sensay.io/quests to earn points, which can be exchanged for some of the Sensay swag, as you can see me wearing today, or for some of the some crypto tokens. Today we've got another special guest, as always, Boris from our team, as well as Lars joining us as always. So we'll do a couple of quicker introductions. Lars, you want to kick us off?
Yes, of course. It is great to be back here with everybody and you, Dan, and love to have Boris in here with us. I'm Lars, head of community at Sensay, and I'm the one that is going to be annoying you all always in chat and have a good conversation over a good cup of coffee. And I want to welcome Boris from Product Design today. Welcome.
Nice to be with you guys. I hope you can hear me well.
Yeah, great. Absolutely fine. So yeah, Boris, I think as our special guest today, it'd be great to, I guess, just hear from yourself about who you are, where you're from, what your role is at the company, and what that means day to day.
Yes. I come from Serbia, from central Serbia. I live in a small town. I am in this industry for 12 years now, and in Sensay, I am enrolled as a senior product designer with main focus of improving UX and UI of the studio dashboard, and that's my primary role.
What were you before you? How long have you been with Sensay now?
I'm with Sensay. This is 9th month, I think. 9 months so far.
Time flies, huh? It's been
Yes.
gone
Yes.
by so fast. And what were you? Where were you before?
Before Sensay, I used to work in one startup called Tech and Flow, which is a fintech startup, and before I used to be there for 6 months, and before that I used to work in a company named Vivant. It's also a startup from San Francisco, and so basically my background is very versatile. I changed a lot of different industries, and that keeps me. I think that keeps me on track well, and keeps me very adaptive.
For sure. And I guess we'll get a bit into the role itself. So I come from a mostly marketing background myself. But I know that there's a huge amount of confusion with a lot of people when it comes to like what is the difference between product design, graphic design, UI, and UX.
Yes, there are differences. Basically, graphic design. Graphic design is mostly related to static stuff, and graphic design. I used to be a graphic designer previously, many years ago. So graphic design is evolved from print, and it's mostly now, considering, of course, that we have digital. In the digital realm, it's always focused on mostly static stuff. There is no interactions and similar things that UX and UI have. Regarding product design, no, I'll first start with UX and UI. UX is how are things going to function throughout the platform, which familiar patterns are we going to use, how are we going to make it more useful and more users more efficient using our platforms, our products. UI design, that's UX. UI design is making it look consistent, making it look balanced, nice, aesthetics as well. So that's UI. So when you say you're doing UX, UI, that's the case. You're combining the two, like good UX principles and nice UI.
And they stand for user experience and user interface.
User interface, yes. And then we have product design. Product design also involves being involved with marketing teams, gathering data from marketing team, from CEOs, from stakeholders. You're more like connected with upper hierarchy of the company. And in that case, you have a bigger responsibility, of course.
And so let's say focusing more on the product design then. So when you are getting this information from the stakeholders, I guess, what kind of information is relevant to actually help you build a product? Let's say it's a software product, for example, and I guess not so much build, but the actual design of it. So what's the sort of end-to-end process of the actual product design that you go through? Like what from the information you need to gather to how you then put that together and what the output is and what then gets passed on.
Yes, there are different approaches how you can how we usually tackle that. As experienced designer, you can always at the beginning rely on empirical knowledge, like empirically which UX patterns work good, what are familiar patterns that you can use from other apps. So you have that benchmarking process and empirical knowledge. After that, it is the next step is making sure that it works. Making sure that it works first with the team and with UX testing platforms that we're using. We need to make sure that there are no bottlenecks, that users are navigating freely, and that work is done efficiently. After that, there is always we always have to keep our ear to the audience, and when the product is launched, we need to make sure that we collect the feedback from our users, that we have established tracking mechanisms to make sure that we don't have any bottlenecks in our UX flows, and that we can address. So basically, that's how we that's one kind of a general approach of the process.
I appreciate that, and maybe it would actually help if we can bring up maybe the studio. Maybe you want to share a screen and we can go through some of the recent updates that show some of show some of that in practice, right? Because obviously we've just updated the studio, we've updated the everything really, the style, the brand, like the brand, the fonts, colors, the whole overall user experience, and how they should go through that. And I guess it would be great to see that I guess in action, and maybe walk through some of the sort of key parts that you guys would have noticed that anyone else might have, because I think it's one of those things that people take it for granted, right? They see the changes and they're, oh, that makes sense, but they don't understand the thought process that goes behind it. So I don't know if you've got it ready. Maybe you can share.
Yes, I'm sharing my screen.
Okay, we'll bring it up for you.
So as you know, and as everybody who uses the platform actively, we are totally redoing the studio and website, of course, but I am mostly concerned with studio. As you guys know, we also have another product designer in the team, amazing product designer, Monica from Poland, and we are splitting tasks between us. So my current concerns were making sure that we have a good knowledge base. That's something that I worked on recently, and it's already rolled. Knowledge base, feeding knowledge. But before that, I would like to say that during our offsite that we had a couple of months ago, we decided that we're going to fully revamp the studio, fix some because our studio used to be in the MVP state. A lot of things, UX wise, had to be improved. So we decided to do one very big step in fully revamping it, but also making sure that we can ship fast and improve in layers, in iterations. So as you can see,
if you can just zoom in a little bit more so people can kind of see some of it. There you go. But then it'd be great to so from the last couple of months, obviously we've made some big changes. So what sort of key aspects go into this? Like if you're designing this with the user in mind, with some shareholder and team and marketing feedback. So what kind of have been the biggest changes here?
Yes, we did. We first found pain points in our previous studio design. It was pretty chaotic because it was mostly shipped by developers with not a lot UX in mind, and that's usually how MVP stages. That's usually how it goes. So we found a lot of pain points in navigation through the studio. So also in how the studio is going to behave on screen. We wanted to enlarge screen usage that we previously didn't have. We had a lot of plenty of blank space previously, and navigation was pretty chaotic. So the main, if I can say for the studio, the main difference that we wanted to bring, that we were absolutely certain is going to make improvement, is going into this approach of having a sidebar and working area on the right, because that's something that we didn't have previously, and that was causing a lot of frustration in users because navigation was not on point. You only had like back button, but you don't know. You had to be at the top of the page to see the title in order to know where you're currently located. That's something empirical. That's something empirical. Sidebar, very familiar pattern for all the users of any SaaS, of any similar software, and we just rolled with it. Obviously, here for better navigation, we introduced breadcrumbs that we didn't have. We can use those so that the user knows where he's currently located. As you can see, everything is segmented. Of course, title of each page. For example, we can now focus on this knowledge base in which we have like multifunctional drop zone, in which you can just drag and drop files, feed to your knowledge entries that are going to be located underneath. You can also switch to links or just textual input if you want to teach your AI chatbot something via just textual input. Links we can feed with YouTube content. Any kind of links basically work here.
And how long does it take to, because obviously you have to design each of the pages and each of the sort of like where all the different links show, what happens when each of these when everything happens. How long does it take to like do each individual page or slide?
It really depends. Sorry, something was off with my net. It really depends. Sometimes you get it from the first take, from the first sketch. You first do like a quick sketch, then you can do a quick mock-up. For example, here we can see that I mocked every potential like state. Like for example, here we have like dragging multiple files. Then how the uploading is going to look. Of course, we had many iterations that we did. So it depends. Sometimes it really you find something that you can that you already did in the past, and you empirically know that it's going to function well. Then you see something that other platforms are using. When you it's really relative, but.
I feel like the skilled artisan, right? It's the whole idea of you spend 10 years of training to know how to do it in 10 minutes type thing. Well, not that it takes 10 minutes, but it's all years of training to know how to get it into place quite quickly and efficiently.
Yes, here the experience is helping you with that empirical knowledge. like you know what you can combine. You went through a lot of different platforms. You designed a lot of different platforms from different industries, and you know what are you going to combine. Experience like in making it experience in using Figma to design it here, it's not that relevant. Like because someone who prototypes, who designs very fast, the difference is not that big. The biggest difference is whether you're going to get it from the first that stakeholders that you can test it out, make sure that it functions properly. That's the crucial point that really makes difference.
And then I guess the most interesting part of this is, so you've obviously designed this in Figma, but then how do developers take this and then turn this into a coded website?
Yes, that's a good question. It's called handoff. So Figma is well optimized for handoffs to developers. So basically, they will come here, and as they are in development mode, and in development mode, when they click here, all the information is collected on the right side in this side menu, and they can see what kind of paddings are we using. Of course, first we are defining. We know how our sidebar looks. What are our paddings for each of the items in the sidebar? What are the paddings, the margins? That's something that we first canonize, and we know that's how it's going to look, and we know exactly how the titles of the page look, and which fonts do we use. Of course, we have style guide that we developed with this project, and basically when they start rolling a few different screens, each next screen is going to be more efficient because they're just reusing pretty much the same components with same styles. Yeah. So basically, that's Figma is very well optimized for developer handoff, and when developers, they have a different view from me as a designer, and they can see all the things. Here, as you can see, I now switch to the development mode, and from here they can copy layout. It generates some code for them, but that's more a question for someone from development team, of course.
I'm sure we'll pick up with them. But so this is obviously in a sense a studio. We've got a link to the studio on the call now, so everyone can scan the QR code, check it. It's super interesting. Honestly, it's amazing to see how much detail and thought goes into like every small element that the average person using the website just wouldn't necessarily notice. So it really is incredible, and thank you so much for the walkthrough. I guess we could probably stop sharing that screen now. It'd be good to, obviously we talk a lot. One of our favorite questions to sort of bring up and talk about is around AI, and which AI tools have you found yourself using in product design now?
Yes. So AI tools are still in, are still evolving. You can definitely not rely a lot, but how I'm using it from the beginning, like when we are designing some feature, I use it as a colleague. I can give a prompt that what I'm working on, and I want to see what AI is going to come up with. But that's just to potentially break something that I have fixated in my mind from my previous projects, how I think that some things should be arranged. It can like break that. similar to consulting with someone, with a colleague. Basically, that's one of the approaches. I give it a task. I see how it functions, and also just chatting with AI helps me a lot. I can chat, ask if I use how do you think that putting drop down here instead of tabs is a good approach for this section. I first explained the purpose of certain section that I'm designing, and I just like to hear what it's going to come up with. Also ask for some patterns that would work in that case as well. Also, still to break some how to say fixations that I have from the past. Also for generating copies, which is very important. You have like a very important job that is UX writing. So UX is not just how things are placed and how things function, but also how is the message, how to say, transferred to the audience. So I use it a lot for generating good descriptive call to action buttons. Optimizing that, making sure that copy is on point. Of course, after that, someone from the marketing and from the management is going to review it, but it's a good starting point. And also what I'm using it for is importing dummy data, because that used to take quite a lot of time. If you want to, for example, you're designing a table and you want to make sure that it works with short sentences, short cells, long contents of the cell, and everything. And sometimes it's very useful. I give it a prompt, generate me dummy data with a large span of content that I can try with. So that's also something that I use it a lot for now.
Do you think that AI is going to, evolve more in the space, and maybe do you think it's going to replace product designers, or do you think it's going to be like, just something that people leverage? But how do you see the future of AI in product design?
How do I see the future in product design? I don't see it. It's definitely going to take a lot of how to say that execution resource.
Simplify the processes and then just allow for you to be creative and work with it, or do you think it's just going to overhaul and take it all away from you?
I don't feel that it's going to do that. How I see it is that you will always need someone to collaborate with AI, like to operate it. So it is going to take a lot of speed up the process by taking a lot of execution resources, like time for execution. But I still think that there are going to be guys that are going to operate it. So that's how I see it.
I actually think that it almost goes the other way around. Like, people are worried about certain jobs and with being replaced by AI, but actually, when it comes to something like product designers and the creatives out there, it actually enables you guys to use your creativity and that sort of the ideation of a concept. You can hear an idea in just casual conversation, and you can visualize how that's going to be. And then the AI is actually going to not just only help you to get there on the design side, but probably actually help you to build it as well. So actually, almost the AI is going to work in favor of the creatives, of the people who work in creative roles and product design and design roles and in general, and artists and creatives, and actually take and lighten the load of the what has historically been the harder part, which has been the actual software development. So for me, I think that it's actually, the future is in the hands of the creatives, the ideas, the people who can come up with concepts and projects and solutions to problems, because no longer do you need to then go and find a software engineer locally or internationally, because AI will be able to pick up the work. So I think it's definitely going to help when it comes to design, but having that creative mind to sort of guide it and shape it does mean that, and being able to, the subtle differences, those small understanding and the visual eye that goes with it, knowing the spacing that works, knowing how a user would follow through with a particular I guess journey on an application or a website becomes super important, because that understanding is going to be the thing that guides it. Otherwise, someone approaching a problem without that understanding is going to, I guess, just ask AI to build it, and it's going to come up with something that isn't very usable. It's functional but not usable to the average person. Because I think that's where the real talent and understanding and experience comes with the user, the UX, UI and product design is around knowing how the average user will actually function when they come to visit a site. As you said, when developers just build something, it's not the most useful thing. It's a bit of patchwork and it's a bit clunky and horrible to use. But when it's actually been designed properly with the user in mind first, you actually end up with something that's truly great experience to actually interact with. That's
exactly.
My two takes on it.
Yeah, that's exactly correct. So basically, we can agree that a good product designer using the AI is going to be someone with something like producer in music, like Rick Rubin, for example. He didn't play any instrument. He just knew what works, how to make a hit. But the band was still playing and figuring out the songs. He never wrote the song. He was just there to be the judge, And I think that as a product designer with a lot of experience, you can become a good judge. Like AI can give you some samples that you can choose from, give some inputs for reiterations, for future iterations, and come up with the perfect product.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we're going to bring up Lars. It's been super interesting, Boris. Thank you so much. We're going to bring Lars back up, and I think there's been a couple of questions that we've seen come through around UI, UX, and products. So we'll probably ask at least one of them for you. Hello, Lars.
Well, hello.
So yeah, we got is there a good UI UX product question? I've seen quite a few come through. So yeah, guys, for anyone who's watching or on Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, if you do ask any questions in the comments, we will be able to pull them up like this and answer them, and then we'll reach out to you afterwards to issue any rewards for being a selected question. So what have we got?
We have Turner Buff. My friend was able to design a whole website with AI. Don't you think AI is coming for you designers?
It definitely is. That's something that we just discussed. Maybe the question was beforehand. So basically, AI is coming for designers, but in the sense that it's going to be a tool that is going to allow designers to have more creativity and take on the execution part of the design of the whole design process.
Yeah,
someone will still have to guide it.
Yeah, I think that's definitely true. It is that understanding that goes that extra level. I mean, I've vibe coded a few things, and I look at what has come out of it, and I'm like, oh, that's good. It's great for a vibe coded solution, right? And AI doing it, but the actual, would it be scalable and usable by the person? Probably not. There's so many different nuances that that go into design and usability of any product that's that you don't notice, you don't think about. So yes, you'll get a functional website, but unless you're like super clear on vision and actually have that understanding of product design, UI, UX to begin with, you're very unlikely to get an end result that is actually useful to most people, that they actually understand how to go through it. But no, thanks for the question. Let's do a couple more.
So one more came up. So unusual. Boris, do you have any advice for someone looking to pivot to UI UX design?
I'll give one advice. Someone is pivoting. It's pretty crucial to know from which area are you pivoting to UX UI design. But I would, and it also resonates with the things that we just discussed. I would focus on building your internal knowledge of UX patterns from different platforms. Like, you want to see how uploading files functions on Google Drive, how it functions on, I don't know, Mega, how it functions on Dropbox, how it functions on, you want to see from all different perspectives, like, for example, upload of files. How are they handling tables? How are they handling filtering mechanisms within the table? Different platforms, and just build that empirical knowledge that we recently discussed here, because that's going to make you a good UX UI designer, especially now that, as we discussed, you're going to mostly be the judge. You're not in very near future, you're not going to be doing the execution. You're just going to say, this is the right thing. Yes, this is a good approach.
If you were going to start again today, where would you go to learn? Would you go to school for it? Would you just learn from like YouTube, or are there online courses? Where would someone go if they're interested in learning about product design?
Probably some online course. I wouldn't go to school. Online course to set the foundations, to learn fundamentals, and then I would immediately go to build my internal database of patterns from different platforms.
Nice. All right. Are there any other questions for Boris this time? Wow.
So Alfred is a new mod. Do you believe simplicity in UX is always the goal, or can complexity sometimes be part of the experience?
That's very interesting question, and quite philosophical. Let's see.
Especially in the Web3 space as well. I've seen some crazy, complicated, unnecessary websites that people love, but just do not make sense from a design perspective.
Yes. Why not? Complexity can be a good differentiator. Like, I believe that complexity can be introduced sometimes for certain. It would be very in very rare situations. But if you find out that your audience is more professional in the sphere, you don't want to have everything oversimplified, because that might reduce the trustworthy of the product, especially among those experienced professionals that are using it. I can give a clear example regarding the UX UI design. For example, in the music production industry, Logic Pro, made by Apple, it became basically like, over the years, it now looks like a toy. It looks like a toy, and it's very professional, very, very like it's the top of the line product, but it kind of looks a lot like toy. And I see a lot of people like switching to alternatives for music production just because of that. They're like, look at this is so this looks too simple and like almost toyish. So there are sometimes like when I was doing, I sometimes do graphic design, and you would always want, for example, you're designing a menu for a restaurant, you want it to be legible. That's like normal approach. But I once designed a menu for a very exclusive restaurant, and I wanted to build that restaurant above the user actually, and I intentionally put big menu with small letters, and everything was very compact and dense, so that that guy that is ordering has to put some effort into it. So you have those sometimes. If you find space for it, you can play with that.
Yeah. I guess simplicity is one of those things that everyone always kind of thinks is the ideal, but it really does depend on the end user. So who's it for, and what do they like? If you can design, I say something super simple, but it feels like a toy, and but at the end of the day, if it's not what the end user wants to use or what they're happy to use, then you have the most beautiful, simple design. But if people don't use it, then it's kind of pointless. It's got to be designed with the person in mind. And I think that's where we talk about shareholders and marketing and data and feedback to drive the UI UX of how the actual users are going to use it. Otherwise you're designing it for yourself at the end of the day, which is, I guess, one of the pitfalls of a lot of product design out there, and a lot of people who go product first rather than customer first. We've got time for one, maybe two more questions if we've got some.
So, OX Madness, since simplicity, the new UX and UX, how many new users have successfully onboarded, and how does that compare to the numbers before redesign?
I guess I'll take this one. I don't think it's so much about bringing new users. So new users coming in is to do with marketing and to do with I guess the overall outreach that we have. That brings people to the platform. I think we've seen definitely improvement in terms of the conversions and the clarity of what we're selling. When it comes to the studio navigation we've been talking about today, I think we've actually it's much more focused on the actual usability of the platform and actually making it useful, intuitive, and interactive in a way that, as we said beforehand, it was clunky. It was kind of patchwork together by the developers and didn't really make a lot of sense. The navigation was all wrong, and everything hadn't really been thought through. It was kind of just fixing it and updating it as we went along. So designing it this time with users in mind and product in mind, I think it's not so much about bringing new users into the platform as much as actually making that entire experience better for users when they arrive. So we've got the better creation flow. So when it comes to now creating a chatbot, you can do it in just 3 steps, and you've got a decent quality chatbot out the back of it. And when you're actually navigating the studio for training and updating and deployment, it becomes super quick and easy as well. So it's more about usability and then the enjoyment of the experience than about the actual number of users it brings in. But we are still growing. We are still seeing new and improving and growing numbers of users. So I'm guessing that is helping as well. Okay, we've got time for one last question, and then we'll wrap up for the day.
Then we have Salman Bhatti. What's your next plan about Sensay UI? Is this final, or is something you thinking to change? Oh, you're muted, Boris.
We can't hear you.
Oh,
there we go.
Here we go. A good question. So basically, our studio, since we are doing this revamp from scratch, you can see that it is looking very simplex, very simple, black and white. We haven't introduced anything out of ordinary. We're using omnipresent components that you see. What we are planning to do next is we're now laying down the foundation, and we are working on this for since after our offsite in Serbia, which happened 2.5 months ago, I think, if I'm not mistaken. So what we are looking to do is to build the foundation like this, using very simple design principles. And when we establish it, then we're going to go component per component and slightly change it to create a bit of to give it more style and more dynamics. That's our approach. We're now building blocks, laying down building blocks without a lot of philosophy and aesthetics, and then we're going to say, okay, from now on, inputs are going to be slightly more rounded. This is going to be the font inside of all the inputs, because everything here is done via using components. So that's something that we're planning to do in the near future when we lay down the foundation.
Yeah, and I think there's always going to be improvements, always going to be updates, always going to be learnings and changes. It's like the easiest example of this is Google, right? Google came out with their first design in '97, or even a bit earlier, and they even though the rough idea has been the same, the search bar, and as you look at the way it's evolved and does still evolve and update and improve, of course there's going to be some changes. So it's not the end now. We will still be improving and learning. Otherwise, it's not like Boris is finished now and he's off and no more work for him. There's always more to improve and new updates in different parts of the platform. Was that it, or do we have any other questions at all? That's probably it.
We always have many questions around, right?
That's been great. There's been loads of questions today. Well, look, guys, I think that's probably all we've got time for then. Boris, Lars, thank you very much for joining today. And for anyone who's interested in watching live or on the recording, if you want to get more involved in Sensay, just check out the website at sensay.io. You can find our Quest platform for earning points and getting more involved in our community at sensay.io/quests. And if you want to find out any information or just pop us a message on any channel on social media, it's at Ask Sensay, or you can find myself at Sensay Dan and just send us questions all throughout the week. Otherwise, we'll be back next week. We've got an exciting month ahead, loads of really cool updates and developments coming out leading up to the showcase at the end of the month and our hackathon finalists in the next couple of weeks. So if those are interested, do reach out and we'll be happy to have you join. But from all of us, thank you very much for joining and watching, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks, everyone.
See ya.
What if your website didn't just look the part, but spoke the part too? Meet the Sensay AI chatbot, powered by AI agents to deliver a fine-tuned, human-like experience to all of your customers. Trained on your company's data and tone, so every visitor gets a personal welcome from the people behind the company. Your best salesperson, on call 24/7. Your founder, greeting visitors at scale. Your brand, coming to life one conversation at a time. Forget "how can I help you" and robotic replies. This is AI with personality, memory, charm. It is a conversation. Sensay AI chatbots, built to sound like your best self, ready to talk to the world.